Hey there, Steelers Nation! Welcome back to the channel that brings you the most up-to-date and exclusive Pittsburgh Steelers news straight from the gridiron. Our team here is working non-stop to bring you all the inside stories, rumors, and developments, so you never miss a beat when it comes to the black and gold. Now, before we jump into today's blockbuster trade discussion, go ahead and hit that like button to support the channel. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe for daily Steelers updates. All right, let's talk business, because Pittsburgh might be cooking up a perfect trade. And it involves a Pro Bowl tight end that nobody saw coming. Plus, we've got an update on the Kirk Cousins situation and how he might still factor into the Steelers' quarterback plans if the Aaron Rodgers deal falls through. Let's get into it. Sources around the league have confirmed that the Pittsburgh Steelers have held serious trade discussions with the Miami Dolphins regarding Pro Bowl tight end Jonnu Smith. That's right, the same Jonnu Smith who made the Pro Bowl in 2024 and is now looking to cash in with a contract extension after a stellar season. But here's the catch. Smith tried to negotiate a raise and an extension with the Dolphins, and it backfired. Miami wasn't having it. Instead of locking him up, they opened the door to potential trade talks. And guess which team stepped through? Yep, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Smith, who's entering the final year of his deal and is owed $4.8 million for the 2025 season, has made it clear he'd prefer to stay in Miami. But if a trade happens, his new team will need to address his financial expectations. And the Steelers, with the 7th most cap space in the NFL, actually have the room to make this work, even after setting aside money for a potential Aaron Rodgers deal. But here's where things get complicated. The Steelers just gave Pat Freiermuth a 4-year, $48.4 million extension this past offseason. He's been a reliable and rising piece of the offense and just had the best season of his career with 65 catches, 653 yards, and 7 touchdowns. So why go after Jonnu Smith? Well, for starters, Jonnu outperformed Freiermuth last year and brings a different level of athleticism and red zone ability. If the Steelers want to truly shift their offensive identity and give their future quarterback, whether that's Rodgers, Cousins, or Will Howard, the best weapons possible, adding Smith could be a serious upgrade to their tight end core. This also sends a message. Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin are not playing around. They're focused on creating mismatch nightmares for opposing defenses. That said, paying 2 tight ends big money could put Pittsburgh in an undesirable payroll situation, but it also means this offense could become one of the most unpredictable. In the AFC, Miami reportedly wants a 3rd-round pick in exchange for Smith, and that's a price tag the Steelers might be willing to pay. Pittsburgh currently holds 7 picks in the 2026 NFL Draft, not including expected compensatory selections. So giving up a 3rd for a Pro Bowl caliber player with at least a couple of elite years left? That's a deal worth considering. Miami, for their part, appears to be embracing a youth movement. Tyreek Hill just turned 31, Raheem Mostert is gone, Terron Armstead retired, and Mike McDaniel's offense continues to prioritize speed and youth over veterans with price tags. Bringing in a 3rd-rounder helps Miami retool for 2026, while Pittsburgh would gain a dynamic weapon for the present. Now, while all this tight end talk is exciting, we also have to address the elephant in the room, the quarterback situation. Aaron Rodgers is still the top target, but things are dragging out. And that's where Kirk Cousins comes back into the picture. Sources say that the Atlanta Falcons are desperately trying to move part of the $37.5 million still owed to Cousins. But only 2 teams have shown any willingness to even talk numbers, Pittsburgh and Minnesota. Now here's the key part. Both teams are reportedly only willing to pay around $10 million of the remaining salary. Atlanta wants a team to take on $20 million, so we're still at a standstill. Cousins, meanwhile, is holding all the cards with his no-trade clause. He could waive it if he thinks Pittsburgh gives him a shot to start or compete. But would he do that knowing the Steelers are holding out for Rodgers? That's the wild card here. If Cousins decides he'd rather sit and wait than play backup, behind Rodgers or Mason Rudolph, things could get messy. But if he sees an opportunity to take over this Steelers team with this kind of supporting cast, including Freiermuth, possibly Jonnu Smith, George Pickens, and a rebuilt offensive line, it might be too tempting to pass up. Let's be real here, Steelers fans. This type of aggressive move, going after Jonnu Smith while still keeping an eye on veteran QBs like Cousins, signals that this front office is in full win-now mode. They're trying to load up for a serious playoff run in 2025, especially if they can finally land Aaron Rodgers. But these moves come with real risks. Do you want to pay 2 tight ends top-tier contracts? Do you sacrifice a valuable third-round pick in a draft that could help replenish depth? And are you comfortable with Cousins being the fallback if Rodgers walks away? It's a tightrope walk, but one that could lead to huge rewards. Let's start with the facts. T.J. Watt isn't just another linebacker. This man is the cornerstone of the Steelers' defense. A former Defensive Player of the Year, multiple time, Pro Bowler, and future Hall of Famer. Since entering the league, Watt has been a relentless force off the edge. His motor never quits, and his leadership on and off the field is second to none. But now, Watt is entering the final year of his rookie extension, and here's the wild part. We've heard almost nothing about a new deal. No smoke, no buzz, no insider leaks, no public comments. Just silence. That's not something we're used to hearing when it comes to a player of this caliber. ESPN analyst Ben Solak recently dropped a huge off-season piece, 100 thoughts ahead of the 2025 season. One of the most eye-catching? His take on T.J. Watt. Let me read it straight to you. I am not ringing any alarm bells, but I find it interesting that T.J. Watt is in the final year of his deal with pretty much no smoke about an upcoming extension. I find this doubly interesting when you consider that he turns 31 in October and is coming off his worst season as a pro. And I find it triply interesting that Watt has never won a playoff game with the Steelers, who may be approaching a massive organizational overhaul if Coach Mike Tomlin cannot figure out the quarterback position. Let's unpack that, because there's a lot to digest. By T.J. Watt's sky-high standards, maybe 2024 wasn't his best. He dealt with some nagging injuries, didn't lead the league in sacks, and occasionally looked a step slower. But let's not get it twisted. Watt was still elite. He still created pressure, disrupted offenses, and demanded double teams every single snap. That said, Father Time is undefeated. Watt turns 31 this October. The Steelers know better than anyone how age can sneak up on even the best pass rushers. Just look at the late career declines of James Harrison or Lamar Woodley. And with the way this roster is shaping up, uncertainty at quarterback, youth in the secondary, and contract questions all over the place, Omar Khan has some brutally tough decisions to make. The lack of public extension discussions could mean a few different things. The Steelers are waiting until after the season to evaluate Watt's performance and health. They're prioritizing offense right now, fixing the QB room, WR depth, and maybe even adding another tight end like Jonnu Smith. They're preparing for a bigger rebuild, one that might involve resetting the defense with younger, cheaper talent. And yeah, we know the Steelers don't typically do loud negotiations. They prefer to keep things in-house. But even for them, this silence is unusual. Let's be real. Watt has never won a playoff game in his entire Steelers career. And it's not because of him. It's because the offense has been a disaster. You can't expect your defense to carry the weight year after year with zero support. The Steelers need to figure out the quarterback situation immediately, whether that's Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, or even rolling the dice with Will Howard or Mason Rudolph. The offense can't afford another year of mediocrity. Same goes for the wide receiver room. Outside of George Pickens, it's razor thin. Deontay Johnson is gone. Calvin Austin is still unproven. If the Steelers want to be a true contender again, they have to fix the offense. That's why many believe the front office is putting Watt's contract situation on the back burner, because they know the window won't matter if the offense can't compete. All right, Steelers Nation, now it's your turn to weigh in. Do you think the Steelers should trade for Jonnu Smith? Is it worth giving up a third-round pick for another Pro Bowl caliber tight end? And what about the Cousins situation? Would you take him as a backup plan if Rodgers drags this out too? Long? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. We read every single one, and if you haven't already, smash that like button and subscribe to stay in the loop on all things Steelers. We've got daily updates, film breakdowns, insider, scoops. You name it. We're just getting started this offseason. Until next time, here we go, Steelers. Here we go.